Lakeshore High head coach Craig Jones talking about the 2019 season for the Titans. Coach, overall thoughts heading into the year. I mean, it's the most successful program at St. Tammany Parish in terms of wins and losses over the last 3 years. How do you live up to that expectations and live up to the expectations that this program has set for itself?
Well, I think the one thing that's going to help to try and meet those expectations is the fact that we have a senior class that's got a lot of experience. A lot of those guys have contributed to the success that we've had, and I would say probably there were times when they were freshmen, we'd have 7 of them starting on defense. So a lot of them have had experience since they were freshmen, plus going into the multiple playoff runs. We're going into this season with probably more game varsity experience than we've had at any point in the recent history.
I don't like to do this, and I know coaches don't like to do this, but fans want to know. Compare this Lakeshore team at this point to the Dome team and the state quarterfinal team. Would you say they're kind of similar? How would you compare?
It's tough. I mean, I think they're very different from the last two years. The experience is there, but we've been trying to fill in multiple pieces that have graduated the last 2 years, and losing a kid like Jake Bernard from last year, Chris Penton, Tylen Driver from the year before. You don't just go get another kid and plug them into those positions. We've been fortunate enough to have some very good players step in and fill in those spots, and I think we've got some kids that can do that this year as well.
Lakeshore's known, the first thing you think of the Lakeshore is the Madden video game offense. Third starting quarterback in 3 years for you. Christian Westcott is going to make that move, kind of make the move, but be on both sides, football, or offense and defense. Why did you want to go with him, and what does he bring to your offense that maybe someone else doesn't?
I think the biggest thing that he brings that we haven't had the last couple of years is a quarterback running game, a power running game if we need it, that still allows us to stay within the framework of what we've done the last couple of years offensively. We're kind of just adding to what we've done the last couple of years, so we're not making major changes within our offense. We're probably just adding to kind of complement the strengths that he has. But he's also got the arm talent to make all the throws that are needed from what we've done in the past. And he's one of those guys I alluded to that has played since he was a freshman. And predominantly he's been on the defensive side of the ball. But even last year he went through the quarterback challenge that we had to find out who was going to be our quarterback last year. It wound up being Parker, but he got some good experience then as well.
I ran into this question when I talked to Josh with North Shore coach Josh Buell with Kershawn Fisher, to where, I mean, we want Kershawn on the field on offense, defense, special teams, selling tickets, driving the school bus, all that kind of stuff. How do you hope to try to balance, with Christian's the quarterback, balance the fact of, yes, we're still talking about an all-state defensive guy returning, but at some point he needs to have a blow to be able to rest?
It's something that we have constantly thought about since we made the decision to put him at quarterback, and he's not the only one. He's along with him of kids that we've got to make sure we're giving them the opportunity to rest. Is Max Lowry is going to play some safety, running back and safety. Jake Smeraldo is going to play some wide receiver and safety. B.J. Foster potentially at wide receiver and some cornerback. Zach Bernard. So it's going to be on our coaching staff to make sure that we're constantly on top of the kids and how they're performing throughout the game, and having somebody else ready to step in and play that position and give us a series or two if any of those kids, Christian, Max, Jake, need a breather. And when they're ready to go back in, we'll put them back in.
You mentioned Max. You don't really have a running back, ever since I would think Ducree, that you would turn around and hand the ball off to 30 times a game. But Max still gives you the threat of he can take it to the house at any point needed. Who else is that running back with him, and what kind of year do you expect from Max on the offensive side of the ball first?
I don't know if that's really what we just ask of that position, with what we do. I don't, and I guess if you had somebody like a David Ducree, then you would modify your offense to kind of fit that. But, with Max, who, obviously had to step in 2 years ago when we were making the run to the Dome in like week 9 when Josh Hayes broke his leg. Max is someone that we know we can trust in all facets of the game. We can put him out wide as a receiver. Obviously, we can turn around and hand him off the ball. He's great in pass protection. So he's someone who's got a lot of experience and that we're going to count on significantly at that position. But when he does need a breather, we'll move B.J. Foster in, who's going to be a starting wide receiver. We'll move him in. We'll let him give us some reps there. A sophomore, Josh Ray, is going to step in and be able to give us some reps there as well. So we've got a couple kids that we're going to ask to carry the load at that position.
B.J. Foster, Jake Cimaraldo, Spencer Jordan. It's hard to not say that's a damn good, talented group of wide receivers. Talk about those three and who else is in that rotation, because you like to throw 5 and 6 guys at people.
Well, the first one that you didn't mention is Rhett Kimball, who I thought has had a really good summer. I thought he's really grown during our 7-on-7s. We'll have him on the outside. Spencer Jordan, who's a returning starter, will be another outside receiver for us. And then Jake Smeraldo is going to be one of our slot guys along with BJ. I'm really, really confident with the receivers that we're going to put on the field that Christian's going to have the opportunity to throw the ball to. They all have the ability to play against man. They understand how to attack zone coverages. They all have really good hands. What I really like about them is that they all like to get into the game and be involved in all facets, and that includes blocking when we're running the ball. And that can make a 5-yard run turn into a 40-yard touchdown.
Last year, when I was talking to Coach Salter at Covington, he said, I'm not asking any of my running backs to be Devin Brumfield. Just be better than the guy trying to tackle you. Do you maybe take that same approach with your wide receivers to where, you know what, no one's asking you to be the next Jacob Bernard. There's not going to ever be another Jacob Bernard. Have you had to have that discussion, or is it almost understood?
It's just understood. I mean, it's not something that we ever talk about. It's not something we talked about when Chris Penton left or Tylen Driver left. It's just, what are the things that we needed to be successful this year? And week in and week out, how can we maximize the skill set of the kids that we have to make sure that we're successful?
You're not worried about somebody trying to be that next 7, right?
No.
Up front on the offensive line, dealt with some health problems last year. It seemed like you never were really healthy. Like, yeah. Who's in that rotation this year, and how much are you trying to develop that depth so you hopefully don't run into those same problems?
Well, 2 guys that we had penciled to be starters for us that we lost before we ever played week 1 was Matthew Ray, who's going to be one of our tackles, and then Caden Gazzardo, who was going to be a guard for us, but we've moved him back to center. We lost both of them before we ever took a snap in week 1, and they're both back. They're both going to be seniors, so obviously excited to have them. Caden has started for us all the way back from when he was a freshman. He was starting for center for us on the back end of his freshman year. Along with them, we'll have Connor Rich, who's a returning starter at guard. Ryan Bernard will be stepping in to play another guard position, and another returning starter will be Carter Smith playing the other tackle position. So I'm excited with our offensive line. I think it's the most experience we've had on the line in a while. Just hopefully we can keep everybody healthy as we move through the season.
What's an experience and a quality offensive line? Why is it so key for you guys? Besides the obvious, they protect the quarterback and they open the holes for the running game. But why is an offensive line key to Lakeshore success in offensively?
Communication. Having those guys constantly working together and understanding, whether they're in some form of a combo block or whatever protection we're in, that it's almost second nature when they're working together, and we don't have missed blocks. We don't pick up a blitzer, which can kill a play. And if you eliminate all those mistakes, then your success rate goes up. We're able to get the ball out in space to guys that we feel pretty comfortable with that can make plays out there. So being able to have them with that experience and that comfort factor of working with each other can really lead to a high success rate for us.
Special teams had a big factor in Lakeshore success. I mean, it's evidenced by, we start keeping charts now, and I have a chart on my stat sheet for block punts because Lakeshore blocks punts like crazy. How important do you expect special teams to be again this year for you? And let's talk about your specialist in terms of who you see in that rotation.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a third of the game, and there were multiple games last year where special teams really directly contributed to the success that we had, especially early. Week 1, week 3, week 5 were games where we had um, either a block punt or a kickoff return for a touchdown, which are huge swings in the game, momentum wise. So obviously, if we can do those things, that'd be great. But it's more than that. It's field position. It's all the hidden yardage that special teams provides. It's something that we give it that equal amount of time and preparation, just as we do offensively and defensively throughout the week. You know, for us this year, we graduated Jack Eddies, who was a great kicker for us, and is now at South Alabama. But actually, his younger sister has been working out with us, and I'm excited to see what she can do. She's going to be a sophomore at Megan Geddes, and I feel pretty comfortable with her. She's got really, really good accuracy and consistency in her kicks. Zach Dollar is a new guy to the team who's going to be a junior. We're looking to see if he can kind of take over the punting duties. If not, Christian Westcott will have a chance to be back there. He's kind of one of those guys that's a jack of all trades, and if you need to ask him to do something, um, you know, even if he isn't the best at it, he's going to get out there and he's going to do it because he's a competitor.